Episode 1 Misconceptions. There are quite a few misconceptions about Germany. People think Germans work a lot, but check this out. Germans are actually on the bottom of average annual hours worked. People think Germans are rich because of their economy, but Germans are on the lower end of net worth per household. Also, they have one of the lowest home ownership rates. People think Germany is super progressive, but it actually has a lot of conservative areas, especially in East Germany. People think Germany is super innovative, but they're actually slow to adopt new ideas. They don't like change and they want to keep things the old way. That's why they've taken a long time to adopt digital payments, and a lot of places still prefer cash. Everyone talks about German efficiency, but Germans are actually not that efficient. For example, complex scheduling causes 1/3 of long-distance trains to be late, hospitals still use fax machines, and if you want to rent an apartment in Germany, apparently it's a huge pain. People think Germany is super green and eco-friendly, but in reality, Germany is still reliant on coal and burns a good amount of it. Most people think Germany has a tiny military, but that's a little outdated. Germany has one of the largest defense budgets in Europe, and it's growing. The Autobahn isn't just one highway, it's Germany's highway system, and some of it does have speed limits. Also, Oktoberfest isn't just about beer, it's a huge carnival with rides and games, and the beer is pretty strong. Episode 2 The Unification of Germany. A few generations before World War I, this was Germany, the Holy Roman Empire, a chaotic patchwork of hundreds of mini kingdoms. There were Germans, but no Germany. Napoleon ended the Roman Empire, but then screwed up by invading Russia. After he was exiled, Europe redrew the map at the Congress of Vienna, forming the German Confederation, 39 fragmented states. But in the late 1800s, German nationalism exploded. Germans felt like they had one nation with a shared language and culture. And Prussia, the strongest German-speaking kingdom, seized the moment. Led by Otto von Bismarck, he fought 3 quick wars against Denmark, Austria, and France. Each war brought more German states under the Prussian influence, and by 1871, Germany was unified under Bismarck. Germany rapidly industrialized and became a leading producer of coal, steel, and weapons. This allowed Germany to make a lot of money and build an advanced military before World War I. It's crazy how just in a few decades, Germany went from a fragmented patchwork to a unified superpower. Did you know Germany once had a colonial empire? Even 1/3 of Germans didn't know they had a colonial past.
The colonial history of Germany.
Gar nichts. Too little, to be honest.
Relativ wenig tatsächlich.
From the 1880s till World War I, Germany grabbed colonies in Africa, the Pacific, and even China, and they became the 4th largest colonial empire on Earth. Germany made considerable profits from all the colonies and even built schools and hospitals. And what's crazy is some of the water infrastructure in Togo is still in use today. And you can still see German architecture in Namibia. But Germany's colonial era was pretty brief. Once World War I began, Britain and its allies began attacking German colonies. Even though the war didn't go well for Germany, there was a huge surprise in East Africa. German General Paul Letto Vorbeck led a guerrilla campaign so effective that he technically was never defeated in battle. However, Germany lost the war and its entire colonial empire. But yeah, unlike Britain's long-lasting colonial empire, Germany's only lasted 30 years. All the things Germany leads in. Germany is the world's top chocolate exporter at 5 billion per year. And they're the country with the most types of bread with over 3,000. They have the most types of sausage with over 1,500. Germany has the most castles in the world with over 20,000. And they have the most Christmas markets with over 3,000. Germany also has the most zoos and museums in Europe. Germany has the highest recycling rate at 66%, and they have a pretty insane recycling system. Germany leads in premium car exports, and they lead in total car export value because of the premium brands. Germany also exports the most high-end machinery and tools. They are Europe's largest economy, and besides China, they're the country with the most consistent trade surplus. Germany leads in the tallest church with a height of 160 meters. And Germany has the world's largest model railway. Germany has the world's largest pumpkin festival, and of course, beer festival. Oktoberfest gets over 6 million visitors per year. And you can make the argument that Germany leads in beer culture. They have the world's oldest beer law and brewery. Episode 5 Germany's Hidden Champions. Hidden champions are medium-sized companies that are #1 in the world in a very specific niche, and Germany has an insane amount of these. Brita is famous for its water filtration, and Simrise supplies fragrances for 30,000 products worldwide. The company Vector Foil Tech specializes in foil technology and has helped make iconic structures like Beijing's National Aquatic Center. K&M is the global standard for microphone stands, and the company Flexi holds 70% of the market for retractable dog leashes. The company Keysporer makes renowned snow grooming and sand cleaning machines. Garrett's Acoustics makes some of the best stage curtains and projection screens for theaters. Lucenwerft is known for its luxury yachts and naval vessels, and the company GTF Freeze is known for ship deck coverings. Autobahn is a pioneer in prosthetics, and Falk & Co. specializes in tobacco packaging machines. Mennekes specializes in electric vehicle plugs, and DSI Aerospace does data storage for satellites. It's actually pretty fascinating why Germany has so many of these hidden champions. For a long time, Germany was made up of many small states, which made entrepreneurs think internationally from the very beginning. And on top of that, Germany has a renowned apprenticeship system, which provides a lot of highly skilled workers. So you end up with a bunch of world-class niche companies, aka hidden champions. What you should not do in Germany. Do not break traffic rules or you will be called out. No walking when there's red lights, and especially do not stand in the bicycle lane. Don't throw away plastic or glass bottles. In Germany, plastic bottles are typically not thrown away but returned to stores for deposit refunds. Don't expect free bags or someone to pack your bag at the supermarket. And the conveyor belt moves pretty fast, so when you're there, you want to have your own bag ready. Don't cut grass on Sundays. Germans take Sunday very seriously. No construction, no noise, and pretty much everything is closed. Don't be late to things. Germans are pretty punctual people, so even if you're 20 minutes late, that's pretty bad. Which is ironic because Germany is known for having trains that are always late. Don't expect good service at restaurants, and if you're at restaurants, don't be loud. If you're the loudest group there, you will be judged. Don't expect free water at restaurants either. Expect to pay a few euros per water. Do not assume you can pay with your card everywhere. A lot of times you'll need cash, especially at bars or cafes. Don't expect free toilets. Most of the public toilets in Germany will cost money. Do not drive in the left lane on the Autobahn. You're supposed to stay in the right lane unless you're passing someone. Don't wish people an early happy birthday. Don't wear clothes in the sauna. And most importantly, when you cheer someone in Germany, make sure you look them directly in the eyes. What you should eat in Germany. You gotta eat bread in Germany. They have the most types of bread in the world, so you won't run out, and you gotta eat at a local bakery. You gotta eat sausage. They have the most types of sausage. Weisswurst, Blutwurst, Bratwurst. They even have a sausage spread. Also, you have to try the German staple currywurst, which is sausage with curry ketchup. And you have to eat German doner kebabs, which is Germany's most popular street food. Kebabs might secretly be the best food in Germany. You also need to try spaghetti ice cream, which is a unique German dessert. Eat Butterbrezels, which are traditional pretzels that are lathered in butter. And Spätzle, a German egg noodle that originated in southern Germany. And you have to go somewhere for brunch that gives you a tower of meats, cheeses, butter, jam, and fruit, and a huge basket of bread. And that's how you eat brunch like a local. Technically, it's Austria's national dish, but schnitzel with lemon is something you need to try in Germany. Schnitzel is smashed breaded meat, and it comes in a lot of varieties, like Jaeger schnitzel, which has mushrooms and cream sauce on top. And you have to try frikadellens. They're pan-fried German meatballs with onions, spices, and breadcrumbs. And sauerbraten is a tasty marinated meat dish. Germany also has incredible side dishes to try, like potato salad, sliced farmer potatoes, unique dumplings, and of course, sauerkraut. And if you don't like sauerkraut, there's rotkohl, which is a purple cabbage that's a little bit sweeter. Spree-rolled pickles are worth trying in Germany. These are pickles from a region in Germany which are considered some of the best pickles in the world. Make sure to try all the beer in Germany, which it's famous for, but don't forget about the wine, and in particular the white wines like Riesling. Germany is also known for schnapps, which are strong fruit liqueurs. If you go to Germany, make sure you're ready to eat. Here's what you should do in Germany. If you go to Germany, you have to check out castles. They have more castles than there are McDonald's in the USA. The Neuschwanstein Castle is the most popular, and it inspired Disney's Cinderella. There's the beautiful Heidelberg Castle overlooking a river, and then the Hohenzollern Castle that's a mountaintop fortress. Germany has a lot of cathedrals too, but the main one you need to check out is the stunning Kölner Dome in Cologne, Germany. If you go to Germany, you have to check out medieval towns. Rothenburg will make you feel like you're in a fairy tale, and Quedlinburg has the most amount of medieval houses. Bamberg is a UNESCO city with canals and smoked beer, and Tübingen is one of the best preserved medieval towns in Europe. You should probably check out the 3 largest cities in Germany, which are Berlin, Munich, and Hamburg. Berlin is the hip city, which has the Brandenburg Gate, the Berlin Wall, and amazing amazing museums. Oh, and you also need to experience techno in Berlin. Munich is the capital, which has the largest technology museum in the world, the Nymphenburg Palace, amazing parks, and beer gardens. Hamburg is a city with the most bridges in Europe, the largest warehouse district, and of course, Miniature Wonderland, which has the largest model railway in the world. If you're in Germany, you should also make day trips to smaller cities. Dresden, Germany is known for its stunning architecture, and Lübeck is a beautiful city that's an island in the middle of a river. Leipzig has lakes and a vibrant atmosphere, and Nuremberg is famous for its Christmas market. You should probably check out some nature in Germany too. There's the Alps and mountain lakes, which are a day trip from Munich, and then there's the Black Forest in southwest Germany. The Rhine Valley is worth visiting for the countryside and wine, and you can also do a Rhine River cruise. There's Lake Constance, and Germany actually has nice beaches in the north and a beautiful Baltic Sea coast. If you like national parks, it's worth visiting the Saxon Switzerland National Park. If you like theme parks, Europa Park in Germany is one of the best in the world. If you like spas, the Therme Ending Spa in Munich is the largest thermal spa in the world. I'm probably missing some stuff, but that's some of the highlights in Germany. If you do a trip, I'd pick a couple of the big cities, then do some day trips around it. Episode 9. Germany has a museum for everything. A corkscrew museum, a torture museum, and a pig museum with over 50,000 pig toys. A blindness museum where you're guided by a blind person through different dark-themed rooms. They have a museum just for sax. They have a snoring museum with modern and vintage instruments for sleep apnea. If you just think of something totally absurd, Germany will probably have a museum for it. They have a disgusting food museum in Berlin, a garden gnome museum, and a thimble museum with different sewing thimbles from around the world. A lies museum dedicated to telling lies, a giraffe museum with over 10,000 giraffe models, a museum for carpfish. There's a banana museum with over 10,000 banana-related objects, a museum for whips and whip making, a watering can museum that has watering cans of every shape and material imaginable. There's a food additives museum in Hamburg that goes through all the different chemicals that are in food. They of course have a bratwurst museum, but they also have a currywurst museum. There's a hygiene museum in Dresden, Germany, and a lipstick museum with over 1,000 different vintage lipsticks. They have an asparagus museum, a potato museum, a mustard museum, and a clown museum ran by a clown enthusiast association. I don't know if I'd go to that one, but Germany might have the best museum game out of every country. Let me know if you've been to any of these museums and any other weird Germany museums that I'm missing. Episode 10, the world's fastest highway. The Autobahn in Germany is the world's fastest highway, but there are some things about it that might surprise you. The Autobahn isn't just one road, it's Germany's entire highway system that spans 13,000 kilometers, and 30% of it does have speed limits. Most of it doesn't have speed limits, and the fastest speed ever recorded was in 1938, where a V12 Mercedes-Benz went 435 kilometers per hour. And here's a more recent one where a Bugatti is going 417 kilometers per hour. Also, you might not even be able to speed on the Autobahn because you might get caught in a traffic jam. The amount of traffic jams on the Autobahn have been increasing. Surprisingly, the Autobahn is one of the safest highway systems in the world. It has less than half of the traffic deaths per capita compared to the United States. A big reason for that is Germans follow traffic rules very well. You can't just vibe out in the left lane. You have to stay in the right lane and use the left lane only for passing. Oh, and you can also get a fine on the Autobahn for tailgating. The whole system is super well maintained, and there aren't any billboards on the highway like we have in America. Since the Autobahn opened in 1932, it's become more than a highway. It's a symbol for how Germany builds and engineers systems that are very efficient. Episode 11, useful German words. The German language has words that can explain things much better than English. Kummerspeck is the weight gained from emotional eating. It literally translates to grief bacon. Backpfeifengesicht roughly translates to a face that needs to be slapped. Now that one is useful. Schadenfreude is the pleasure derived from another person's misfortune. Germans also have a word yen, which actually means yes and no. Erkleansnot means the distress for not having an explanation. Futterneid means food envy. It's the feeling you get at a restaurant when someone else orders the better food item. Germans have a useful word, tja, which basically translates to the shrug emoji. You say the word Ohrwurm when a song is stuck in your head and you can't get it out. Fernweh is the desire to be somewhere somewhere far away. Fremdschämen is used when someone does something cringy or awkward and you feel that secondhand embarrassment. Vorführeffekt is when you have practiced doing something and then when you go to show it to someone, it just doesn't work. And Germans have this really crazy word, doch, which is like a verbal Swiss Army knife. Germans use it all the time in conversation to add emphasis, but its main use flips a negative into a positive. So if someone says to me, you don't like chocolate, I can just be like, doch, which means actually, yes, I do. How come we don't have that word in English? Doch, 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 doch. Episode 12. Why does Germany hate nuclear power? This is Germany's energy production. You can see how nuclear power used to make up a huge percentage, but today it's almost none. And what's crazy is countries like France still get 70% of their electricity from nuclear power, while Germany shut down its last 3 reactors in 2023. So what happened? Back in the 1970s, anti-nuclear protests exploded across West Germany, which led to the formation of Germany's Green Party. So there was already a lot of political pressure in Germany to phase out nuclear power, and then Chernobyl happened. All the fear turned into full-on trauma because Germany literally had a radioactive cloud over its farmland. Then you have Fukushima in 2011, and Germany was like, if Japan can't handle nuclear power, then we can't either, and they began shutting down the rest of their plants. Today, Germany is a leader in solar and wind, but it's burning a lot more coal than other European countries because it doesn't use nuclear at all. But what's interesting is modern nuclear reactors are nothing like the old ones. Gen 3 and Gen 4 reactors, the kind India and China are building, are incredibly safe. This is the current state of which countries are building nuclear reactors. If countries like India and China are safely building them, is it possible that one day Germany could bring nuclear power back? Episode 13. Germany's military comeback. Germany's making a massive military comeback. Look how defense budgets have changed in Europe from 2014 to 2024. Germany now has the largest budget. Germany plans to add over 30,000 more active soldiers over the coming years and expand their drone and cyber capabilities. They lead the European Sky Shield initiative, which includes upgrading the air defense systems. They recently announced they're buying 3,500 armored vehicles, which includes 1,000 Leopard tanks. And they're constructing 4 new warships before 2028. So how did we get here? Well, for decades, Germany had one of the weakest militaries in Europe, but that changed after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. Just 3 days after the invasion, Germany announced a $100 billion defense fund. This allowed them to buy dozens of F-35 stealth fighters, rebuild their tank battalions, and procure more missiles and submarines. In 2024, Germany's defense budget hit $89 million, which is now the largest in Europe. For the first time in 80 years, Germany is definitely rearming, and this time it's to protect all of Europe. Germany's main problems. Late trains. Germans are known for their efficiency, but they have some of the most late trains in the world. Over 40% of their long-distance trains are not on time. Germany has slow Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi is slower than a lot of other countries in Europe, like Romania has Wi-Fi that is twice as fast. Bureaucracy. Germany has a lot of bureaucracy and relies heavily on paperwork. It's basically a huge pain to get anything done. Their processes are slow and they lack digitalization. Germany is slow to adopt new ideas. A 2023 study found that over 80% of German businesses still use fax machines. High cost of living. Rents have skyrocketed, especially in major cities like Berlin. Germans also don't really own homes. They have the lowest home ownership rate out of all of Europe. Immigration. Germany has an immigration issue. Since 2015, they've welcomed more than 9 million migrants. This might have been a little too many people too fast because now anti-immigration sentiment is rising in Germany. Germany has a housing crisis. Estimates suggest a deficit of 800,000 apartments. It's basically impossible to rent an apartment in Berlin. Each listing gets hundreds of applicants. Lagging economy. Germany's economy has been stagnant since 2018. Germany's economy is heavily export driven, so if there's declining global demand for their goods, their economy really stagnates. A lot of these issues have caused Germany to become more politically divided too. East versus West Germany. There is still a divide between East and West Germany. West Germany has more disposable income than East Germany, and East Germany has higher rates of unemployment. They also have completely different demographics. The population in East Germany is much older. This is likely because younger people move to West Germany for higher salaries. Also, West Germany has higher pensions too. It seems like things are much better in West Germany, except childcare is surprisingly better in the East, and East Germany has a higher vaccination rate. There's more foreigners in West Germany, except in Berlin, which has a large foreign community. A weird one is the West produces more trash per citizen. Also, East Germans don't really own trailers. There's also a religion divide. The West is mostly Catholics or Protestants, while the East is not really that religious. The election results were quite a bit different too. Germany's Conservative Party gets more votes in the East. Germany was divided for 45 years during the Cold War, so it's not a surprise there's still some differences today. Fortunately, the life satisfaction ratings show that East Germany has significantly improved since 1991.